Hello everybody and welcome back to the GrianaigCreations podcast channel. My name is Kirsty, my pronouns are they, them, and I'm coming to you from Paisley in Scotland. And I forgot to say it's episode 101. It's incredibly warm here in Scotland today, or at least in my neck of the woods in Scotland, it is apparently 27 degrees. But I would love to get a thermostat for this room because I reckon we're probably sitting at about 30. 32 maybe, because we've just got such a big window that this room is like a greenhouse. I can go to any other room in this house and it is cooler than this room. Not by much, but still cooler. And my desk is in here and this is where I sit and craft, so unfortunately I just have to make do. It's probably going to be a fairly quick recording because I have had to turn the fan off so that I can record, and I am melting. Bring on next week when the weather is to go back down to decent September temperatures. So it's 27 degrees today, it's 28 degrees tomorrow, and then next week we have to go down to like 18 and 14. Much better weather conditions. So let's see if I can show you. Oh, it's gone down. Apparently it's 26 and 27. So this is temperatures for next week. I'm very much looking forward to them. Yeah, I definitely prefer the 14 degrees weather. I say that. It'll come around to 14 degrees next week. I'll be like, it's too cold! Well, it has been a couple of weeks since I last recorded. Just life getting in the way. I really didn't want to record. Busy weekends. And I also just didn't feel like I had enough stuff to show off, but I would like to maybe get into recording a wee bit more regularly and have slightly smaller, like shorter, not smaller, videos. And I'd probably like record them on my phone or something, so it's so much easier for recording and uploading. But we'll see. I say this, and I think I've said it a couple of times before, and it's never happened. So we're just gonna roll with it and see what happens. So, I have technically 3 fully finished objects. More if you include the crochet that I'll show off at the end. But really 2 of them are half finished objects that are not going to get their second. So, let's just jump in and you'll see what I'm on about. So, the first one is technically a fully finished object, but not really if you're going to be pernickety about it. I finished the sugar ring tank top. It is still to be blocked, it's still to have its ends woven in, and it's still to have its pocket sewn properly. So this is where the technicalities come into play. The knitting is finished, but everything else is not. Still not too happy with this, so I'm really hoping like this, you can't really call it like it's not ribbing because I read the pattern wrong and put on too many stitches, and therefore it really should have been ribbing and now it's seed stitch. But it keeps folding up, right, like, oh, yeah, see, I was going to say it's not folding up just now. It really is, like the whole thing is just flipping up and it does my head in. So we're going to have to see if blocking does something about that, because I hate it. I really hate it. I also have enough yarn that I could have knit this blue bit longer, so we'll see how it comes out after blocking, and if it's still not quite long enough for my liking, I'll probably put in 2 needles and then knit one portion longer and then graft the 2 bits together, or just rip the whole thing out and start again. So this is a pattern that I got at what was formerly Perth Festival of Yarn. It has now been renamed and rebranded into the Scottish Yarn Festival. I got this last year? I wouldn't say last year. From the HotButter Yarns stall. The sugar ring tank top itself I would not say is very size inclusive. I have knit the biggest size and I am certainly not the biggest person that I know. So not very size inclusive, but I reckon you could make it bigger if you knew what you were doing, but that kind of defeats the purpose. Like, if you're going to have to do the math, then you may as well just make the pattern yourself. Do you know what I mean? So, not super size inclusive, but I really loved it on the day and I decided, what the hey, I'm just going to get it and see. And yeah. So, just needs a really good block, and then we'll see if I'm going to either frog it or add more length to it or whatever. Oh, it is too warm. So we'll start with the other sock actually. My wonderful friend Ellen is going to be vending at the Scottish Yarn Festival this weekend. So today, she's on, like, what's the word? Talking too fast and tripping over my words. So today is the 7th of September and the festival is this weekend on the 9th and the 10th. And my friend Ellen asked if it would be possible for me to do some sample knitting for her stall, and I said of course, as long as it was small. I could not have committed to something bigger like a shawl or anything bigger than that. And so she asked if I could do a sock, and I was just like, I could do socks. And so she sent me the yarn, and unbeknownst to me, I don't know if she said this in our messages, she'd already started it so there was needles attached. But her gauge and my gauge are entirely different, and so I ended up just ripping out what work she had put in, and so that I could do it all on my own gauge. This is the Gladys Sock from the Second Drawer Down book by Verity of Truly Hooked. Some of you may recognise this or already own this booklet. This one came to me from Ellen herself. I will be returning it to her probably in a couple of weeks, even though I'm going to be seeing her this weekend, because there are some really, really lovely socks in this. So this is the Gladys Sock, and this is my first ever cabled sock. Not my first cable project, but my first cable sock, and I am really happy with the results. Now, this is a makeshift blocker made up of very sturdy cardboard that my mum got when she bought some trainer socks. So it did have like a bump here and then another bump here that I've cut off on this one. Unfortunately, it is still on that one. I should have, you see the ridge here. And the reason this is like a makeshift blocker is because I don't have feet this small for them to go on my blockers. I have big feet, and this is a teeny tiny sock. I'd say this is probably like a size 3 or 5, 3, 4 or 5. So if you're attending the Scottish Yarn Festival this weekend, you are going to see this sock on Ellen's stall. You will be able to buy this yarn. The mini, unfortunately, I did have to add in for the toe because I did not have enough yarn to complete it. So the mini, you might be able to buy on her stall. I don't know. But you'd definitely be able to buy this main colour, and it's a really, really gorgeous colour. I was worried with the variegation that you really wouldn't see the cables too well, but I was wrong. I mean, you can see that definition really, really well. And so this colourway really works well for this socks. My only personal issue is I don't like 1x1 ribbing, and I know I could have changed that, but I didn't want to change too much because it is a sample knit, and so that's just like my only issue with all of this. Like, I have no issues with the yarn whatsoever. I think it's absolutely beautiful. The sock pattern itself, really, really lovely. Very good explanation. I did find an error in the book though. with the definition of some of the cables. My only issue is it's just a personal preference. I don't like 1x1 rib. I never have. I don't like the look of it. I way more prefer 2x2. So yeah, this is the Gladys Sock. Again, it's just exactly the same on the reverse. The only difference is there's no cables on the sole of the foot, because that would be a little bit uncomfortable. Yeah, that is another one. So there's only one of these. This one's not getting a second sock, so it's only a one sock thing. So this is why I said that there was 2 projects that are half finished objects and are going to remain so. I need to take a drink of cold water. Yeah, I don't think I could last in America where it's like considerably warmer. I think I need to move to like a colder country. I hate snow though. That's my issue. I hate snow. Actually, I'm going to preface that. I love it when it's on the mountains. I hate it when it's under my feet. Okay, so the second project that is going to remain a half-finished object is a tale of woe, unfortunately. Nothing to do with the pattern. The pattern's really lovely. I think it's my tension or the fact it's colour work. Could be colour work. So this is the Little Mugs sock pattern by CaraEllenDesigns or Cara Apples. And Cara is one of my IVKN friends, and she really makes some gorgeous patterns. I think this was the very first one she released, and I think she now has 3 patterns out. The pattern itself is kind of sold to have the colour work here as well, but I didn't really want to put that in, so I just decided to make it here. And when I went to try the sock on to see just how much more I needed to knit for the toe, I really struggled to get this over my heel. And it's like right here, like this bit was too tight to go over my foot, which is insane to me because I'm pretty sure I knit these on a 2.5 and a higher stitch count, but again it's probably because it is colour work, it is not as stretchy. So I didn't want to knit the second one just for the sake of knitting the second one and then just not have a pair of socks that I could wear, and it's not something I could give to my mum either because she would have the exact same issue I do. So what I've decided is that I'm just gonna, I finished the sock, I didn't just leave it or let it sit for any longer. I just decided to put the toe in and finish it. And then once I find my sock blockers, I'm actually just going to shove this on a sock blocker and pin it to the wall. Because I think it would look really nice just sitting on display and then somebody could see it. Cause like, you could just imagine it hanging from the wall as like a really interesting decoration. So yeah, the pattern is lovely. I had so much fun knitting this and I think I would have finished this sock quicker had I put the colour work here as well, but oh well, we live and learn. So I'm not convinced I went up to 2.5mm needles, but it looks like I did. I know my stitches well enough. So I don't know if I'd need to go up to like a 2.75 when I come back around to actually making a successful pair of socks, or I just need to increase stitches here. Not too sure. But yeah. So this one will remain also a half finished object. I'm going to move on to knitting works in progress, and then I'm going to look back around to crochet finished objects and I guess you could say works in progress. So The next work in progress is my Goth Pride sock tube. And I'm sorry, but just having this on screen and having this yarn sitting out just makes me so happy. I have always loved a good rainbow, and then if you just add the whole gothic blackness to it, I think it's so cool. So this is a self-striping yarn by FibrePunk, and this was released as part of his Pride collection, and of course I had to go get some. I also have the, I think it's just the Pride colourway, which is just the rainbow, no black. But I really like this one as well, so I had to get this one. I have knit 50 grams and I have a remaining 50 grams I'm going to put into a hat, just because I think it would just be such a fun hat and I would love it and I would wear it all the time when the weather's not ridiculously hot. So I have 50 grams sitting on my desk over to my left, and this was what I put into the sock tube. Still on the needles. I'm trying to decide whether or not I want to put the toe in or if I want to put the next cuff in and have my socks kind of like altering. So one goes in one order and then it goes in reverse. Or if I want to have them going in the same order. So at the moment these are on hold until I decide what I want. I quite like it in the reverse order. I think they would look quite quirky that way, so I might end up putting the next cuff in and then I'll be able to cut them and put in toes and then heels. If I decide to put the toe in, then obviously I would go back and put a toe and a cuff in and then do the heels. So I'm undecided. Eventually I will decide. Oh, I'm dropping projects. I'll get to it later. The next project I'm going to show off is another FibrePunk yarn project. We all know how much I love a good FibrePunk yarn, and I cannot wait to see his stall this weekend at Perth. Not sure how many yarns I'll be walking away with, but hopefully one or two. So this next project is the Mount Pleasant Tea by Pip and Pin. This is a project that you can get online on Ravelry and somewhere else that isn't Ravelry if you still can't use it. And I would love to have this finished for Perth, but I'm gonna be realistic and say that given the fact that this is Thursday, that's just not gonna happen. So I have finished the front. It's on a yarn holder. I think last time you saw this, it was probably just before the split for the sleeves, so maybe about here or something. And I have done the front. I still kept the 2 balls of yarn, and then when I got to here where you start casting off, I moved to just 1 ball of yarn for each side. But here's something. I did not plan that. They are pretty much, because you can see there's more pink on this side than there is on that one, nearly identical. And I did not plan that. I wouldn't have planned that because that is just too much effort. So I think that's pretty cool, especially for the front of the garment. And now I am on to the back. I need to knit this until it's 7.5 inches long, and then I can start shaping the back. Then you do a 3 needle bind off with the tops, go in, do your neckline, and then go in and do your sleeves. And it's not really that much of a sleeve. I'm pretty sure you just pick up your stitches and then do like 1 inch, 2 inches of ribbing. So it might be doable, but it wouldn't have time to be blocked. Although with this heat it would dry very quickly. I'm not setting any targets or goals. Knowing my luck, I'd get it finished for like Sunday, and I'm only going on Saturday. So I'm probably going to take this to my craft group tonight and see what I can get done. Last time I measured it, I was at about 4 inches for the back, and so we'll see. I'm not holding high hopes because I'm not going to make myself panic knit and stress myself out. My work is stressing me out enough. So, next project is just a simple vanilla sock that I started last week when I was meeting Marcus and my friend Nanya. That sounded like Marcus isn't my friend. We all know Marcus is my friend. Nanya is also my friend from the Netherlands who was over for holiday. It was so good to actually meet her in person. I will link her podcast down below. Sorry Nanya, that was really bad pronunciation. If you hear that beeping, it's my work computer. I'm on my lunch break. So I cast on just a simple sock just to keep my hands busy. I feel like sometimes I get too fidgety for my own good, and just having a simple sock is just enough to keep my hands busy and keep my brain kind of calm, especially when I'm out and about in public where I can get a little bit anxious. So the green yarn at the top is a mini from Mrs Lam Yarns, which is Ellen, and then the main body of the sock is in the West Yorkshire Spinners. Not sure which one this is meant to be, like what the unofficial name for it is, because if you check the ball band, it's never the name of the birds they're meant to be. So this is being knit from my mum. I'm knitting it on a 2.5mm needle with, I want to say 68 or 72 stitches. So yeah, this will be for my mum, and then obviously a second sock will be started after it. I haven't worked on this since last week though. I maybe put like 1 or 2 rows on. If I drive to Perth, it won't get any work done on it on the way there, but Scott will be driving home, so it'll get work done on it then if I'm not too tired. So I might make him drive both ways, and then I get tons of knitting time. But that's not fair. Not now that I can officially drive his car. So yeah. Just a nice simple sock. This is the slowly ever misshapen mini. This is what happens with my minis. They all go really misshapen. So we'll see how long this lasts before I have to rewind the ball. Okay, and my last knitting project, I reckon I'm actually going to have to rip out and start again. My LYS posted that they were looking for people to test out some new yarn that they were looking to get into the shop, and I volunteered. And so this is Helter Skelter by Emu, or Emu Soft, I think the full one is. It's just Emu Yarns. But this is Funfair Helter Skelter DK, and it's got some really fun colours. This ball of yarn is not centre pull friendly. It was so difficult, but my reason for persevering to get a centre pull is because I just feel like the way this yarn is wound, the minute I take that ball band off, this is just going to turn into a giant mess. Like this whole top layer is just going to come straight off, then the next one, then the next one, and so on. And I don't really want to have to recake because of how they've wound the yarn. So I persevered, I got the centre pull, but it took a lot of work to get this out. So that's my only gripe about this yarn. It is quite a fuzzy yarn. Don't know if you're gonna see it. Sorry, my hand's shaking a wee bit. I'm a wee bit low in sugar, I think. It is a fuzzy yarn, so that doesn't bother me too much. Now, the reason I feel like I'm gonna have to rip out and start again is because this is meant to be a hat, and I feel like it's quite big. Like, I followed the pattern that I've used before for DK, and I just feel like this is going to be too big and too loose, and I don't want that at all. So I followed the instructions for the Ross hat using the fine, they call it like weight 2 or something like that. I don't know, I don't do the American yarn weight, but I cast on 105 stitches as per the pattern, and I really think I probably could have just cast on like 95 and been absolutely fine. So I reckon I'm going to rip this out and recast on, which is a pain in the butt because it took me about 3 tries to cast on because I decided to cast on so late at night and I was really tired. So we live and learn. Not all DK weight yarns is going to come out the same. So I just think this is going to be far too big. And I've got a big head. Like, I'm not meaning that in like a self-centered way. I literally have quite a big head. Women's hats do not fit me. So yeah, it's what it is. Thankfully I'm only 6 rows in, so it's really not that much work to rip back. Right, my camera has 3 minutes on it before it's going to cut off and I'm going to have to redo a section. So I'm just going to stop it and restart a segment so I can go over the crochet. I'm also going to take a big drink of water and just breathe. I feel very, very breathless right now. Okay, time for some crochet. I'm actually going to show off some wedding stuff that I'm okay showing off just now because everything else I'll show off after the wedding. I've decided to make my own bouquet, and I might make the flowers for my bridesmaids. I probably won't though, if I'm being honest. I just want everything finished so that I can just relax. I would love to have all the wedding stuff finished for going into October, and then just having October to just chill out apart from like dress alterations. So yeah, we're gonna see. I have special ordered 2 yarns from Quack Yarns, which is Fiona, who is based in York but is originally from Scotland. And I have specifically commissioned quite dark and moody yarns, and you'll all understand once I've finished like my vlog for the wedding. Not a vlog for the wedding, I'm not going to be recording my wedding, but when you see like some of the photos and some of the footage of me talking through like what I've made, you'll understand. So I started making flowers. This is a very, very, very pale lilac, and so I'm on the fence if this is going to be a colour I'm gonna go with, but I still think it's really gorgeous. So I wanted something that looked obviously not as a real flower, but still looked somewhat lifelike. I didn't really... Okay, when I say that, I mean like this is the other type of one you can make, and I don't think that looks as lifelike as this. So this is, they say this is a rose, but this is the rose I picture when I think of a rose. And I know there are different like breeds of rose, but this is what I think of when I think of a rose. This shape, this style, the way the petals are, this is not what I think of when I think of a rose. This is beautiful, and it might be used somewhere else, maybe as like boutonniere, maybe. Don't know, haven't decided. Technically I have over a month. So I tried this one. I think it is lovely. It's just not what I wanted. It's not the style I wanted. It doesn't, like, you can fan it out and it looks a little bit better, but it's not guaranteed to stay that way. Like, that looks a little better. but then like the minute you just scrunches up and doesn't look good, so you just, I feel like I would constantly be fanning it out, making sure that the petals all sit proper. I think I'd spend more time fixing it than I would actually enjoying it. So I really liked how this came out. Actually, this was the first one I made. I liked how this one came out. Some of my petals are a bit wonky, but it was a learning curve. I wasn't really sure, 100% sure what I was doing. But this was the first one I made. And I wasn't convinced, I'm still not convinced on the size. This was made with a DK weight acrylic yarn with a 3mm crochet hook. I will put the details of the pattern that I used down below. I purchased it on Etsy. I don't know if you can get it on Ravelry. But I did buy it on Etsy. And I just thought this was really, really beautiful. My only gripe was the size. And I put something out on my Instagram, links you can find in the description box below, and I did ask like what people's opinions were, because then I made this one. The colour, like this is a very vibrant, almost kind of like what you would class as a neon purple, so the colour on the screen of my camera is blowing out. So you can see the size difference of these flowers. And so I posted a photo of them like on my hand, asking kind of like people's opinions, like kind of making it clear like I don't know if these are going to work. And everyone's like, well, roses come in different shapes and sizes, so you could get away with it. Like you could put them side by side in the same bouquet and it would work, it would be okay. So I've gone with that. And so I've made more. Well, you already know about that one, but I've made this one as well. I really like this one. So this was made with some leftover, all the 4-ply ones, which is what this one and this one is, are all made with leftovers, so I can't make another one. I really like this though because it's variegated yarn, and I think, oh, there's a sneeze waiting. Okay, let's go. I think this was leftover yarn from the Yarn Badger. I think, I could be wrong. I think that's when I bought a set. I think it was like 5 50-gram skeins, and they're all like, it went from quite a dark to quite a light one. I think this was one of the leftovers. I could be wrong. So yeah, I've made these ones so far and I'm really, really happy with all of them. And I've got a pile of the petals waiting to go for the next bigger one in a very dark purple. And I've got enough, I'm making 2 in this colour, so I have petals for 2. Not all of them, so that's why it's just sitting there. I just need to put these somewhere before they fall over or sit on them. But yeah, I don't know if I'm just not convinced or I just don't trust my skills enough to do this. Which is really weird because I made my sister's bouquet and she still has it and she still loves it. But I made a smaller one of this style and I'm just not convinced. I don't think I'm going to make these ones anymore. The only thing I would change is that I saw it on like a TikTok or something where somebody put like an eyeball in the centre. Now that I would do. I would definitely do that and put that in a bouquet. So we'll see yes, I just happen to have a couple of these made. I've got 3. This one's a knit one that I think just came out too big. This one's a crochet one that I'm not convinced I like. I don't like the starting bit. And then I feel like this one's the right size. But again, I'm just not convinced with some of the stitches. Like, see that one green stitch right there? That annoys me. So yeah, I haven't really gone back to making eyeballs. I've asked other people to make me eyeballs though. So Marcus and Ryan, I think, are making them. Let's see if I can get these back in. I am literally turning into a pile of melted human being. So yeah, that is the only wedding charter I'm really going to put in here. I do look forward to showing off some of the stuff I have made, some of the stuff I have purchased, some of the stuff other people have made me, because people are lovely. So far I have received stuff from Penny, Gillian and Nanya, and I'm so grateful. So, well, my mum as well. Can't forget my mum. And one of my aunts. And Aileen. Aileen gave me something as well. So yeah, I am going to probably wrap this up right here. I'm not even going to get into life stuff. I do look forward to seeing any of you at Perth this weekend for the very new named Scottish Yarn Festival. Excuse me. I'll be there on the Saturday. That's the only day I'm going to be there. Don't know how long I'm going to be there for. I don't have a ton of money to be spending, but I'm also there for the social aspect. I am dragging Scott along again. As I always do. He doesn't seem to mind. He'll bring a book or something and sit and read if he gets bored. Or go out and wander Perth. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I'm going to see so many friends I haven't seen in ages, and I haven't seen in person ever. So Erin is coming all the way over from the States, and I get to give her a big squish in person, which is going to be amazing. And then on Sunday I plan on doing nothing. Maybe knit. Of course there's going to be knitting. But yeah, I'm going to disappear off now. I'm going to go stand in front of the fan. I know I complain about the heat, but we are not used to it here in Scotland. We don't have air conditioning. We only have fans which just circulate the warm air. I might just go sit in Scott's car. It's got air conditioning. My boss would be like, why have you not come back from your lunch break? I'm sitting in a car with air conditioning. Okay, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this very weird episode, and if you're going to be at Perth, come say hi. Until the next podcast, not sure when that'll be. I might try and record some footage at Perth. I might not. I might just enjoy the time that I'm there. Until the next one. Bye everyone.